ahead, Coach.
Well, as always, appreciate you guys' time. Guys have had a good week. I mean, I'm sure, and you have to, right, as you continue to go through a season. This is obviously a huge opponent coming to the Blue Saturday afternoon, but I'm proud of how our guys learned from some things from Saturday from Saturday night against New Mexico, and there's some good stuff we did. There's still a lot of things where the Broncos are beating the Broncos on plays, either penalties, missed assignments, lack of discipline. And guys, we're continuing as coaches to work to get these things fixed. Had to make a few changes in practice and how we're teaching things to make sure it's simple so our players can go out and execute. So we've got a great group. This team loves each other. They care about each other. And so many of them have been here, right? They know what it is here. We just got to keep being better. And it starts with me making sure it's clear for our guys to grow. Proud of the week they had. Obviously, very aware now going through the week, how talented and good UNLV is. Hats off to Dan Mullen, how they were able to reload. Got a lot of really good players from the transfer portal. I think their quarterback's one of the better quarterbacks we'll see. And we've struggled in times with guys that are super mobile quarterbacks. Obviously, game one's a really good example. So he does a really good job. Their running backs averaging almost 9 yards a carry. I mean, that's a monster stat. And they're one of the top teams in the country in regards to turnover margin. I think their defense is one of the top defenses on third down. So when you see a team that's undefeated, you watch the actual clips, and then you see some of those stats, and it makes sense why they're undefeated and why they're doing a really, really good job. So we got our hands full Saturday afternoon. It's a huge game, and we obviously see Bronco Nation there, just like I know they will be, in full effect. It's going to be a big-time college football game.
What changes did you make in practice?
Yeah.
Minor tweaks?
Yeah, just making sure at every point in practice our guys are focused, because everything's and I understand why, Mike. Everyone points to false start penalties for our offensive line. Absolutely got to grow those. But there's a lack of focus at other points that maybe it's harder for someone just to see. That's not directly correlated to a penalty. We need to focus. We can't take any lapse in our focus. And so making sure throughout, from the second they go on the practice field to the second they leave, their mind has to be present and ready. And so in regards to how we do indie, how we do cadences, how we do whistles, to make sure I actually have to listen and I got to be able to execute, which keeps my focus. So we got to continue to grow. Is it going to be perfect Saturday afternoon? No, but I always want to have things that we have a problem. We got to find ways to fix it.
This is a program that you've seen a lot of the last couple of years, but obviously it's a completely different team this year. What are some of the challenges in basically trying to get ready for a brand new team and not being able to use some of the previous season's game film?
Yeah, we've obviously played 6 games. They've played 6 games, so we're using what they've done this season. Whole new staff, a bunch of new really, really good players. They got some really good returners. Obviously, their running back probably being one of the best. But we're watching their film and going about it just like we would a normal process. Yes, we've played them a lot the past couple of years, but they're a whole new football team, and honestly, we're a completely different football team than those years we saw them. So it's going to be an awesome matchup.
Maddox talked yesterday about getting some criticism on social media. I know Coach Pete wouldn't even let his players have social media. How do you kind of deal with that in this day and age of gambling and everything else going on and just social media being the way it is? How do you as a coach try to talk to guys about that kind of stuff?
Yeah, Beej, I mean, really good question. We have a lot of conversations about outside noise, and that can come from a lot of places. Could be coaches, could be trainers, could be parents, could be social media, could be the media in general. And so just trying to educate our guys on what matters and what to listen to. Because at the end of the day, it's easy to be like, well, it doesn't matter what they say. But when you read it, you feel a certain type of way. I mean, with some of the stuff that's been sent to me or Matt, that's why I know for myself, obviously older, been through this. I make sure that I'm not reading and listening to a lot of those things. Because regardless how you view it, it hurts your heart. And we are in this profession to impact people. And we're in this profession to give a product, put a product on the field that Bronco Nation's really, really proud of. And when people aren't, that's hard. For a young man like a Maddox Madsen who does everything for this team, that hurts my heart as a coach that loves and cares about him. When fans and supporters of our program speak a certain way to a guy that would do anything for this team, anything for this program, it hurts my heart. And honestly, I wish it wasn't happening. It is, and it happens everywhere in college football. But I do know these kids love being here. They're here because they want to be here. Not because, Boise State's paying me more than another school. No, they want to be here because they love this place, they love this team, and I wish our fans would continue to see that.
You mentioned, you being older and being able to tune some of that out. How much of that do you get on your own accounts?
Oh, I'm sure I get a lot. I just don't look at it, if I'll be honest with you. It's just, for me, I'm process oriented. I got to focus on things that matter. So I have social media. I use social media more times than not for recruiting, just to make sure that's an easy way for me to connect with a recruit. But I don't, I use it then to promote our program, but I don't get in the weeds. It's just, I know I don't want my mind going there. Even the good. Hey, you guys are the best team ever. I don't need that. I need to focus on the right things. Or vice versa, when people think the world's ending, I need to stay away from that too.
This game obviously isn't about coaches, but for a young coach like you to be going against an old coach like Dan Mullen, how fun is that?
Yeah, I mean, I got a ton of respect for Dan Mullen. I mean, I remember when he was the OC with Tim Tebow, who I got a ton of respect for, and the success he's had at Mississippi State, Florida. Obviously now walks into UNLV and they're undefeated. So just got a ton of respect for him. I don't go into games so much about me versus a coach, but I understand the question you're asking, Mike, and I got a lot of respect for him, a lot of respect for who he is as a coach and the success he's had and excited for. But I'm really just excited for our guys to continue to improve. I mean, that's my heart for this team. I feel like there's a lot of work we've been putting in as coaches and players to grow, and I just want to continue to see that growth. I believe if we keep growing, we're going to really like the product on Saturday. If we don't, and we make mistakes like we've made, it's not going to be a situation we want to be in.
For everything good UNLV does, run defense ranks kind of low. Just how do you envision guys like Dylan and Siren and whatnot getting involved in this game?
Yeah, obviously for us offensively, running the football is a foundation. It's a foundation for them. I mean, UNLV's offense, I was looking at the other day, they lead the nation in yards per play, and that's a big time stat. So I think there's a lot of similarities on both sides. Defensively for them, yes, they've played the Air Forces just like we've had. They've played teams like that are going to run the ball a ton. So sometimes those stats can be skewed. Where they are really, really good is third down. I mean, they're the number one defense in our conference on third down. So you might get some yards, but when they get you to third down, it's a problem. And they got a really good package defensively to make sure they win.
Just for a short down situation or short yardage situations as well. Have you kind of settled on a running back you kind of prefer to go to pick up those few yards, or is it just still a hot hand?
Yeah, everything's personnel for us. No receivers, tight ends, running backs. There is going to be a hot hand in the game to see who's breaking tackles, who's seeing the field really well. But we try to personnel everything to make sure what do they do really well, and then we'll personnel it that way.
UNLV's been talking a lot about how this is kind of a rivalry game for them. Is that a mutual feeling for you guys, and also moving forward, not knowing kind of what the future's like, playing UNLV down the line, like how much more value does that put on this game, knowing that you don't know when you're going to see them again?
Yeah, we don't talk a lot about rivalries here. Like, it's every week's a new week. Every game is the most important of our season because it's the next one, and that's the way we feel about this game. I don't talk to our guys about rivalry. I have not said one word about last season because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I believe every game we play, they are putting all their chips on the table to beat us, and you better believe we have to do the same for them. No different after this game. Everyone's going to talk about Nevada and that, and so on and so forth. Every game's a game that we have to have our focus. It doesn't matter that UNLV is not going to be in the Pac-12 and we might not be playing them. This is a huge game this weekend, and we got to be ready.
Yeah, Colton was saying yesterday, his confidence has really improved since, being pulled in that game in that bye week. What have you seen in the way he approached, being pulled and, just wanting to get better?
Yeah, he's responded really, really well. And how he's practiced, how he's performed, that takes a competitor to go through a negative situation in game in front of the nation and be able to respond from and come back and play pretty well. Like I said, I think he's playing at a high level. Not only creating touchbacks, kicking a 50-yarder in a game that we desperately needed it. He's playing at a high level. It needs to continue, but especially that position, and that's why we call them specialist snipers, where they don't have a ton of body of work. They are asked to do something, and all eyes are on you to do it at a high level. And I'm proud of how Colton Boomer's played, and his future is really, really bright here.
He also mentioned, Jonah as being one of his inspirations for marrying his wife, and said when he came on his visit here, he told you, he's like, hey, I think I'm gonna marry her, and you were like, yeah, go for it, I'll marry you even.
Yeah.
Just kind of what was your role in kind of pushing that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a date to marry guy. I tell her, I mean, I'm a firm believer that you find the right. Now, I'm not pushing our players to get married. I want to make sure everybody understands that, but I'm not. But I know for me, and I think sometimes as a college young man, there is a lot of things we go, oh, well, you can do it in the future. Like, you can, absolutely. But I think if you find the right one, and there's nothing better than being married to your best friend and going through life together, the ups and the downs. And I want our players to be focused on the things that matter. So I don't talk so much about marriage, but I do talk about how to treat women the right way and what that looks like to date to marry, what a real man looks like, and even in recruiting. So when people come on trips and they're either dating or they have a fiance, or I want to be very involved in that because I love these kids. These kids are like my son, and Colton Boomer's a phenomenal young man. I mean, married this summertime. His wife Soph is awesome. I mean, he's got a bright future in football and in life. He's a special young man. Also a really good chess player from what I hear too. I'm gonna have to check that out one day.
You mentioned Brown and Calandry. How is your defense right now better suited to deal with a mobile quarterback than it was then?
Yeah, we've learned a lot throughout the season, Mike. I mean, we obviously there's schematic things we had to fix to make sure that we're in a good situation. The thing with Calandry too is he's a really good thrower as well, right? And so when you play someone, he's got a lot of similarities to a Mateer, like we played a year ago, where he can run, but it ain't like you're playing someone who just can run and then throw fade balls. Like, he can pick you apart, and he's shown that. I mean, and he's shown to be really, really explosive on both sides. So we got to do a great job with our front to make sure we leverage the pocket. And then when he escapes, which he will, I mean, he's a really good football player, we got to get him down. We got to make sure it doesn't turn into 40-yard gains, 30-yard gains, or the game winner like what happened last weekend against Air Force. So, and then, I mean, Thomas, number 9, it's going to take gang tackling. I mean, we went back and even watched clips of going against him last year. I mean, there's 3, 4 guys that get a shot at him, but the 5th one gets him down, right? We got to gang tackle. He's a really good running back. We got to get a lot of hats at the party.
What's the biggest difference in a mobile quarterback where you kind of set the tone, where maybe you get them to leave the pocket on your terms versus when they leave the pocket on their terms?
Yeah, I think it's always something defensively where you're like, hey, we want to push him to this area. But I think with a guy like Calandra, it's when he does get in space, can you get him down? And do we have player that can go hunt him down? And with watching, he's hard to get down. I mean, when he's in space, he's elusive, and he makes very, and I'm not directly correlating this, but there's some Johnny Manziel in what he does. Like, he'll fake throw a pass when no one's around, a guy will jump and he'll scramble for a first down. He's just very savvy. He makes plays that where there's nothing there. That's what is concerning about going against him. So we just got to do a really good job leveraging the pocket. We got to be smart when he does get out, which he will. There's really good design runs too that we got to make sure we fit and fit well. So we got our hands full with him. And then the thing about that is he's got really good receivers to throw to. And the second he turns around and hands the ball to number 9, it's a problem. I mean, there's a reason they're undefeated, and there's a reason they average more yards than any offense in the country every single time they stop the ball. I mean, there's a reason.
I know we were talking Monday about, you were asked about 4th down conversions and all that, and there's the famous chart out there.
Yeah.
Is Dimitri Washington the one that's holding that?
Yeah, he helps me a ton, man. And he helps me in all facets, man. Dimitri does a great job, not just when to go for it and just some thoughts, but he helps me a ton in game management situations. And we do coordinator meetings each week. We're gonna have one later today where it's just we meet on Monday and then we meet again on Thursday. Hey, plan to win. What's it gonna take for us to do offensively, defensively, on special teams? What are we thinking here? Weather, all that, to make sure we as a group of leaders know the plan to win. And Dimitri Washington's really involved in that. He does a lot. He's also coaching scout team, an assistant edge coach. I mean, Dimitri Washington's got a really, really bright future in this, but he helps me a ton with that stuff. And then how I use analytics is just there's a good structure, and then what do we need to do each week? And it changes each week for us. We're gonna be very different against UNLV than we were against Wyoming. But that's our plan as coordinators, and then it's my plan in game to make sure we use it and be able to adjust when we need to.
So is he the one also like telling you timeout clock management and stuff too? Or
That stuff's really planned for us. Yeah, so he would though. I mean, I'll ask Dimitri anything because we study stuff together, we go through it. But we do a lot of stuff in the off season too. So everything's planned for us. When to use defensive timeouts, when I want to use offensive timeouts in regards to 2-minute, 4-minute. So try to have a really good plan in game because the emotions get really high, and I need to do a really good job for our team. So that stuff's really planned out prior to even going in the game.
Spencer,
Coach
just
Collins.
I was just curious, just from a coaching standpoint. I mean, the last time you guys played these guys, pretty happy memories. But being a rivalry, how do you guys consistently be where your feet are? You know what I mean, and keep those emotions out of it. How do you kind of get your team to that level headed into Saturday?
Yeah, similar to the question that I was asked earlier. I mean, every year is a new year. I mean, we're playing a UNLV team that's very different than they were last year, and we're a very different football team than we were 10 months ago or whatever it was. So we just got to continue. It's all about us. We got to continue to grow. We're a process-focused team. We don't, well, this is UNLV and they're undefeated, so now we got to change everything and be perfect. Like, I don't believe in that. I believe in growth. I believe in process and making sure Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, so on and so forth, we're our best. And we know but we do know we're playing a really, really good football team Saturday, and mistakes that we've made, if we make them in this game, it's going to cost us because they're a really good football team.
You're in charge here, players and the coaches, and I know how close you are with Coach Collins, and I know you've said you're not getting the results you need from special teams this year. How hard has this been on him as a guy who's had so much success at this level with this stuff, and for whatever reason on multiple levels it just hasn't popped yet? What have the conversations been like with you and Coach Collins about getting the special teams to your standard?
Yeah. I mean, you guys, I absolutely love Coach Collins, have a ton of respect for him as a football coach. And guys, it kills him. I mean, we obviously I meet with all the coordinators the day after the game, pros, cons, where we're growing to. And I mean, giving up a play like we did Saturday night kills him. And it hurts my heart seeing someone I care about who puts so much into something for it not to go the way we want to. And so we're actively working to find ways to get it better. I mean, we are problem solvers. So, and we have what we got. And we have enough. We have enough players. We have enough schemes. What are we missing, and how are we finding better ways to do it? So I have the utmost respect and I have the utmost belief in Coach Collins. I don't believe there's a better special teams coordinator in the country. There's a lot of people that might say this and that. That's where I'm at. I believe it because I see how he works, the detail he puts in, the energy he brings to it. We just got to execute better. I mean, once again, perfect example. That kickoff on Saturday night, we had guys jogging down the field. That's on me. That's a culture issue that I got to fix to make sure our focus is on point every single down, and we got to be better.
You see the comment about Dan Mullen talking about birds dying on the blue?
Yeah, I saw it. I honestly started laughing. I think it's a really good. It was funny. The first time I moved out here, people were talking about that, and then I remember I brought it up when I was out here, and everyone's like, "That doesn't happen." And I was like, "All right, I'm never gonna bring it up again."
Anybody else?
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach.